Hi there and welcome. I'm Darth Tyrael, and this is the top 10 NES games to start speedrunning today. It's not a list of my favorite 10 games, nor is it a list of the 10 best games I've ever speedrun. Rather, it is a list of the 10 games with the best reasons to start speedrunning them, as they embody the very reason we choose to speedrun games at all. So if you're looking for something new, or you want to start speedrunning for the first time, here are the 10 best NES games to start speedrunning today.
Number 10.
Donkey Kong, the 1981 classic in which the NES mascot himself, the man with the mustache Mario, makes his video game debut. At the time, one of Nintendo's biggest arcade successes, Donkey Kong paved the way for Nintendo's rise to power in the video game world. In 1983, it was ported to Nintendo's 8-bit consoles, a treatment given to many popular pre-NES era arcade games. Games like Mappy, Mappy Land, Mappy Kids, along with Donkey Kong Jr., Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Galaga, Popeye. As the flagship, Donkey Kong makes this list because it represents the arcade genre ported to the NES 8-bit world. These games were short, simple, and focused on high score originally, involving multiple loops of the games. In the speed world, the number of loops is pre-decided, and the race to the end becomes the main focus. These games are phenomenal in and of themselves to experience a prior era, and also make for an easy practice session for any aspiring speedrunner. Most of these games have a primary category of only a single loop and involve 1 to 2 major tricks at the most, which are usually fairly simple to learn and repeat over and over again due to the short nature of the games. For these reasons, Nintendo arcade classics deserve a permanent spot on this list. Whether it's Donkey Kong or one of the other greats, they're all worth giving a try.
Number 9.
The Legend of Zelda. In 1986, gaming as we knew it was flipped on its head, with the unprecedented Hyrulean adventure. A year later, the sequel hit shelves and raised eyebrows worldwide. It was different. Regardless of which side of the Zelda debate you stand on, both are widely popular to speedrun, and well worth a try. Due to the widespread popularity of the Zelda franchise, and the even more popular SNES and N64 versions, in the speedrunning world at least, help by way of guides, tutorials, and generally excellent community members eager to teach everybody is everywhere to be found. And, as mentioned before, the successors to The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, are two of the most popular and widely speedrun games in the Nintendo world. While the length and technical nature of many of the tricks within the Zelda franchise will keep these games at the lower end of this list, the widespread popularity, the enormous communities, and the vast quantity of resources easily accessed anywhere you want to look will always make a Zelda game an easy pick, even if it is a tough adventure.
Number 8.
Felix the Cat. This 1992 gem and rather collectible cartridge is one of my absolute favorite speedruns on this list. This 1918 cartoon-turned-video game is rather easy to complete, and was my introduction into a world of wonderful cartoon-based or cartoon-style platformers that weren't quite Mario and weren't one of those very well-known Disney games. Felix includes a sizable leaderboard on speedrun.com with many legendary runners that you'll also find in common with many of the similar games in this category. Games like Wacky Races, The Jetsons, Cogwell's Caper, Wampum, Bonk's Adventure, Joe and Mac. Some of these games came out too late in the NES life cycle, and some of them just weren't marketed very well. But all of them seem to have a unique charm that makes them different and remarkably playable. While the leaderboards are smaller, they're still well flushed out and highly optimized. Which in speedrunning is a generally good thing because it means more strategies and available resources for you. So if you enjoy platforming or NES classics that you just haven't seen yet, give any of these cartoon adventures a try.
Number 7.
Kirby's Adventure, HAL Laboratories' 1993 masterpiece. The Kirby franchise spans across nearly 24 systems and has 35 different games listed on speedruns.com. While Kirby's Adventure doesn't harbor its own individual community, the Kirby franchise as a whole has formed one giant community for all its games. As community may not be why we start speedrunning, but it certainly is one of the biggest reasons we continue to do it, we enjoy doing it, and we push forward. The importance of having good, like-minded people around you to share ideas with can't be understated in this list. With that in mind, the wider a game's reach is, the more optimized, the more explored, and the more understood that game can be. Kirby's Adventure has a wide range of wild categories, from complete game-breaking glitches allowing you to beat it in less than a minute without much trouble, to undroppable overpowered power-ups, to simply passing through a wall here and there to get where you need to go. But no matter what level of trick or glitch you're trying to execute, there's no shortage of experienced players and resources to help you find your way.
Number 6.
Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. The 1989 LJN phenomenon. In what is now known as standard LJN fashion, Friday the 13th, the movie, was taken and turned into a video game that barely resembles the movie it came from. However, it's this unique style of adaptation that's made LJN and LJN-like games quite favored among speedrunners of the NES classics. Both the leaderboard of this game and other games like Jaws are highly optimized and incredibly deep. As the programming is often very simple, albeit unique, these games are highly controllable, highlighting how a greater understanding of a game's programming can lead to truly masterful gameplay. Of course, no LJN list would be complete without A Nightmare on Elm Street, the only 4-player capable platformer ever developed for the Nintendo. So whether it's great gaming with friends, or just general janky junk, LJN's got you covered.
Number 5.
Mega Man. In 1987, the arcade giant Capcom launched its first of what would turn out to be a 6-game series for the franchise just on this generation of console alone. That being said, as the series progressed, so did the mechanics of Mega Man himself. Each game boasting a unique set of enemies, powers, and varied movesets. Much like the franchise itself, the fanbase is vast and widespread. In fact, the fanbase is so large and committed to this franchise, Mega Man itself has its very own leaderboard sites at megamanleaderboards.net. With community being one of the best reasons to speedrun, bar none, it's a marvel that Mega Man has been able to stand on its own for so long. The dozens of entries across all platforms give us no shortage of control schemes, art styles, and musical selections. Many of these entries are considered among the best of the games available for each of their respective platforms. And in my opinion, only the sheer high level of technicality that has been optimized into these speedruns keeps Mega Man from being at the absolute top of this list.
Number 4. Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
In 1990, Capcom struck gold again with what would be considered one of the best of many to come of the Disney NES platformers. Acclaimed games including Darkwing Duck, Little Mermaid, DuckTales, DuckTales 2, and the follow-up Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers 2. Each one of which is considered in its own right one of the best of what NES had to offer. And of these, the original Chip and Dale's is still to this day considered one of the absolute best games ever developed for the NES, and the leaderboards show this. In fact, only Link and Mario himself have proven more popular on speedrun.com for NES games. And what else would we expect from Capcom? Top shelf audio, beautiful bright graphics, controls that are intuitive, physics that are unparalleled for platforming, and above all else, a co-op mode that's actually playable. No, actually very good and worth playing. Among so many NES classics and Disney greats, you'll be hard-pressed to not find at least one you thoroughly enjoy.
Number 3. Castlevania.
Konami's 1986 legacy, the franchise that spawned game after game, arcade cabinet after arcade cabinet, and became its own genre in a right, at least when combined in thought with the other game we're gonna cheat into this list in this very vote, the 1987 Nintendo classic Metroid, and together we have the Metroidvanian genre birthed. A new increased level of immersion and a sense of vastness in a world that was otherwise fairly small when put to scale. Now, because these are such great games and absolute fundamentals in your NES library, you'll find no shortage of crossovers with runners from all walks of life, from great communities to top and bottom on this list and beyond.
Number 2. Ninja Gaiden.
Tecmo's 1988 beginnings to the legendarily difficult series that is the Ninja Gaiden franchise. While from a classic standpoint it is considered one of the harder titles on the NES, this game is very learnable, and it has a massive community and following, making it that much easier, with coined phrases and terminology for the moves that they use, to an official ninja license designation. That's right, if you can beat this in 12 and a half minutes, you too can be an official ninja. And if there's any reason to speedrun a game, more than the game is fun and worth playing in and of itself, it's because great people also do the same. And the awesomeness of the ninja community cannot be understated. So go check them out, join the ninjas, and see if you can get your license sometime soon. They'll be glad to get you there.
Number 1.
Super Mario Bros. 3. Would this even be an NES Top 10 if this wasn't at the top of the list? And while it may be cliched or overly expected, this one does belong at the top of this list. Because, as we've stated before, if there's one reason to become a part of speedrunning, it truly is for the community. And there are few communities as widespread, as long-standing, and well-developed as the Mario 3 community. Like we said with the ninjas, the Mario community has its own language. They've named their Hammer Bros. It's a lot of fun, and it makes it easier to learn and understand. There's strats and tutorials for all levels of players, with moves and tips you can take or leave, because you can customize this to your own play. And they'll help get you there, that's for sure. They're very eager to accept new people. They host regular tournaments and even have weekly races. It's one of the most active communities by far, and as such, they're always looking for more ways to game together. So whether it's Mario 3, or 1, or 2, or whatever your fancy in the Mario world is, Joining this community will certainly open doors to a whole world of gaming you never saw before. Well, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of them, give it a like, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and follow us over on Twitch at DarthTuriel85/TwitchTV for my daily stream where we do NES speedrunning, reviews, and more. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, game harder.